You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Watson's Playbook.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in Watson's Playbook episode number 34. We've got quite a bit of show on for you today. The weekly sports update, breaking down the wildcard games that took place last weekend. Going into this next week, did we predict the games right? We'll predict this weekend's games as well, give you kind of our input on that. We got some sideline notes for you, some coaching decisions made this weekend. So let's jump into it, though. The weekly sports update. The wild card weekend games just took off. We're going to break down a little bit here, game by game. So game number one was the Bills versus the Colts. The Colts became the first team in playoff history to get over 450 total yards in offense, turn the ball over 0 times, and lose the football game. They lost 27-24. They battled the Bills. This was a pretty good game, back and forth. I predicted the Bills to win, which they did. I thought the Bills might win in bigger fashion, but the Colts are a team that has a really good running back. He's a rookie running back who's number 5 in total rushing this season. So when you got a team like them that run the ball really well, they control the time of possession, and they play really good defense, they're going to be in every game they play just about. They played really well. The Bills just played a little bit better. Allen played pretty good. He had 324 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. That's a good game for him. It was a low-scoring game really until the fourth quarter, where the teams put up their biggest quarterly numbers. The Colts drove down the field at the end of the game. Questionable turnover that was actually rolled back, but the Colts couldn't get the job done in the end. The Bills take that one out. Bills move on to round 2, and I think if they're going to win next week, they have to play better. We need to see an MVP-type game out of Josh Allen coming up in the next week. He didn't have – I don't think this was an MVP-type game where you saw Josh Allen take over this game. We need to see that coming in. They looked a little bit sluggish against the Colts. Game number 2, the Rams upset the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle 30-20. This is one I did not see coming. I thought Seattle would win this game. I predicted them to win. They didn't. Russell Wilson was not cooking at all. That's been his thing this year, is let Russell cook, because Seattle's known for running the ball more than letting him throw. So this year they let him throw more. In the first 3 weeks into the season, they wanted to give Russell Wilson the MVP and already hand him the award. But he has struggled down the last half of the season as his defense has actually stepped up and gotten better. And he is to blame. This was a bad game for him. 174 yards passing, 1 interception. Not a very good performance. This is one that Russell Wilson will remember. the Rams did a good job. They started their quarterback, John Wolford, started. He actually got hurt in the game, got sent via ambulance to the hospital with a head and neck injury. Goff had to come in and look. He broke his thumb a couple weeks ago. He had surgery on it last week. He didn't start this game. He came in. He only threw for 135, 140 yards, understandably, with that thumb. They were able to get the job done. The defense of the Rams are the scary part of this team. Aaron Donald played well. The Rams pick six, Russell Wilson. They played really, really well, made Russell Wilson look really bad in this game. And the Rams, though, going forward, got a lot of injuries. Aaron Donald has some broken ribs. And Cooper Kupp looked like he had a serious injury. It wasn't a torn ACL like they thought it was. We see these guys are playing next week. Jared Goff will be probably starting next week. I'm not sure on John Wolford's injury, but I don't think it was that serious. Maybe he'll start, maybe he won't. Jared Goff's thumb is a question mark. So they leave with a win, but they leave battered and bruised as they head into next week. Number 3, the Bucs beat the Washington football team 31-23. Washington's defense played pretty good, but they did not get to Tom Brady, and that's how you beat Tom Brady is you got to get to him, make him uncomfortable, get him out of the pocket, sack him multiple times. They did not get there. Washington doesn't blitz pretty much at all or a lot. They allow on their front four. They have one of the best front fours in the league, if not the best. They did not get there. They did not get home on Tom Brady. The offensive line played really, really well for the Bucs in this game. I watched this game. I was like, I'm not going to watch this game. The Bucs should handle it pretty well. But you had one hell of a game from Taylor Heinicke, starting his first game in the NFL in the playoffs. He came actually from the XFL last season. He was back up, and he actually had to start because Alex Smith was not able to go. He threw for 306 yards, and he played with lots of heart. There was a play that he rushed out of the pocket where he looked like he's going to get sacked, rushed, and leaped from the 4-yard line and in the end zone. He played really, really well. He's playing hurt as well. He has left shoulder injury, and he played well, but it fell short. They did battle the Bucs. Tom Brady had 381 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that's, to me, is the golden star of this game goes to Tampa's offensive line, who kept Tom Brady upright against a vicious D-line from the Washington football team as the Bucs move on next week. Number 4, the battle of bad blood took place. Baltimore versus Tennessee. Derrick Henry was shut down. He had 40 yards on the ground. Tannehill only threw for 165 yards. That is how you beat Tennessee. You shut down Derrick Henry. You force Tannehill to beat you. Tannehill looked good in the first quarter, and after that, he struggled to make the throws he needed to make. They went up 10-0. The Tennessee Titans did, and then Baltimore came back. And Baltimore, they won this game. Lamar, I'm not a big believer in Tennessee or Baltimore. If we're being honest here, I'm not a big believer in them. I'm not a big believer in Lamar Jackson. He doesn't throw the ball very well. But Lamar Jackson has one of those games. He threw for 179 yards and he rushed for 140. That is how he beats you. He runs the ball for over 100 yards and he throws the ball for over 100 yards. Time of possession. Their defense is are really good, and they play good football. Like I said, Titans started off with a 10-0 spark and nothing happened. And the reason nothing happened after that, the reason I call this the battle of the bad blood, last year when Tennessee beat Baltimore in the playoffs, Tennessee stomped all over Baltimore's logo. Well, when Tannehill threw the game-losing interception, the Ravens stomped all over the Titans and actually got a penalty for it, stomped all over the Titans logo. And when they won the game, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens bolted off the field, didn't even shake hands. It's good to see a rivalry in football. You don't see it a lot, but these two teams, they do not like each other, and I'm interested to see it going forward and see what happens going on next. Baltimore moves on next week. The Saints take care of the Teddy Bears 21-9. Mitchell Trubisky threw for 199 yards. They could not get any offense going. They could not get an offensive drive, any rhythm going in this game. Now, the Saints do have a good defense, but Trubisky just looked bad. They couldn't get anything consistently going, nothing, no rush game. And that's one of the things I said last week. If the Bears had any chance to win this game, they had to establish the run. They did not get that established at all. Saints took that over. The Saints look bland. They look slow in this game, even though they were 121-9. They only had 7 points midway through the third quarter. That's not going to work next week. If you're only putting up 7 points into the third quarter, the Bears defense is pretty good, but they look sluggish. They look slow. They're going to have to keep up and pick up the pace next week as they move on. Number 6, the Browns do exactly as I predicted, which was win. I didn't predict them to blow the Steelers out, but they beat the Steelers 48-37. Now, like I said, I was not expecting that blowout, but they started the game off. It was 28-0 in the first quarter. Everything that went wrong for the Steelers that did happen. Ben Roethlisberger had 4 interceptions. The first snap of the game was over Ben Roethlisberger's head, ended up in the end zone. The Cleveland Browns jump on it. 10 seconds later, they're up 7-0. The next drive, Ben throws an interception, and it was downhill from there. They fought and climbed their way back in, but they could not get the job. They could not get the job done, starting that big of a deficit against the Browns. Baker Mayfield played great. He had 3 touchdowns, 263 yards. He did not make the mental mistakes. He played the game that was given to him. He made some good throws. Nick Chubb played great, rushing and catching, receiving. Landry looked good. So the defense was all over the place for the Browns. They were picking off balls, batting balls, picking them off, played really good. So they looked really good this game. They move on next week, and the Steelers, who started off 11-0, go home first round. Number 7, the NCAA championship was last night. Alabama versus Ohio State, and that's about it. Alabama killed Ohio State. It was like 56-23. We all knew Alabama was pretty much going to win. Ohio State beat Clemson down pretty well last week. They were all up on hype about the trash talk from Clemson. Actually, that wasn't last week, a couple weeks ago. But Ohio State can't even come close to hanging with Alabama, and that game was over before you know it. All right, he is back on, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is back on this week. Let's go ahead and welcome him in, Jeff. How has your week gone? And did you watch any of these playoff games this last weekend?
I had watched a bunch of highlights. I didn't get to watch them live, but I did get to catch some of the highlights. I watched a little bit of the Packer game, and I watched. Hold
on, Jeff. Packers didn't play this weekend.
Oh.
They played the Bears the weekend before. That was the
game. I've been off.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I've been off for this last week. So never mind. No, I should say I watched the Steelers game. That's what it was. A little bit of that. Basically what I ended up doing was I just watched a lot of the highlights. So.
Right, and I love that because I love that aspect because I'm not like, it's not like I can watch every single game, but I can go on there and highlights, it's a 5-minute clip, and it's going to show me the main things and give me a good general knowledge of what goes on. So that's a good feature, and a lot of people do that for sports or baseball, especially, and stuff like that. So
yeah, YouTube does if you go to subscribe to the NFL channel on YouTube, they do their highlights, and everything. So I did get to watch at least the highlights of the games and stuff. So if I couldn't catch it live, and I completely forgot about the national championship game, I was thinking that was going to be one more week away, but I didn't know it was going to be. So I missed it completely. And then I saw the highlights and I was like, okay, they got Alabama pretty much destroyed on that one.
It wasn't even close. And COVID has killed my enthusiasm for college football this year, with a lot of missed games, and you didn't get to see a bunch of great games. So I figured Alabama would win. I thought it'd be closer the way that Ohio State kept or beat and dominated Clemson. But it was just total just trouncing. Alabama just ran them over and didn't even look back. How's your week gone personally, though? Anything going on there in the Colorado?
We got some snow the other day, and it's been kind of just chilling out. I've been kind of doing this big project for this guy, so I'm still working on that stuff. Work's work. I mean, right. It is what it is.
Same old,
Yeah, work's work. And then other than that, I watched the CC Sabathia documentary with my wife on HBO, which is pretty good. And
I didn't know it was on HBO. Okay.
Yeah, they had it on HBO. So we watched it on HBO Max, and then other than that, we just been chilling out. We've been playing a lot of Nintendo Switch lately. We've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. So typically at night, we just kind of chill out and play Mario Kart. We go online and play with a bunch of people, and then and that's always fun. So
that could be competitive. That could be competitive, definitely.
Oh yeah, when you go online, it shows what country they're in. So at one point there was a moment at night where it was just, we were the only Americans in there and it was all Japanese people. I was like, oh gosh, we're about to get owned by all these people.
Right. Yeah.
But so it's just, we just been kind of chilling out and ran some errands and stuff and they lifted the 25% capacity here. I want to say last week, like last Monday. So we can finally go in and eat places and stuff like that. So we've been doing that a lot lately, at least last week. And so that's been kind of nice because we haven't been able to go eat in anywhere, I think, since September.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Hey, get out there and support those local businesses and restaurants and stuff.
We just been ordering stuff, order and pick up, but yeah, they've shut it down for the most of the holiday, at least in terms of eating in anywhere. So, but other than that, I wanted to go see my mom, but she's real busy. So she told me just to kind of give her a few weeks and then we could probably go over there. But she's been real busy doing what she's doing because she just works like a temp. So she works for a few, like X number of months, and then she has off for X number of months. So,
nice.
But yeah. Outside of that, I watched the last Bronco game. It was pretty good. I mean, we lost. It was kind of unfortunate we lost by a point, but there were a few really good plays. I was very satisfied. Really, I wanted to just see Drew Lock play, and I was satisfied with what I saw. He did pretty good. Him and Jerry Jeudy connected on a massive play that, I mean, it was like a 90-something yard play. And Jerry Jeudy just completely smoked the defense on that. So I was like, dang, like he ran it all the way to the house. And I was like, geez, this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff. This is exactly why we picked up Jerry Jeudy in the draft, like this kind of stuff. So
Jerry Judy's fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Oh yeah. It was pretty good to see them connect. You know what I mean? And to see finally. Yeah. The offensive line did an amazing job. Drew Lock, I don't think he threw an interception at all. And it gets a defensive rival, as much as everybody's like, oh, well, it's the Raiders. But anytime we play against our own division, it's always going to be crazy. It's always going to be an insane game. So that was pretty good to see. The defense completely fell apart. I don't know what happened in that game. They were doing well, and then at the end, they just completely gave up.
It's a win-win, I think, for you guys. The last game of the season, I say that because you lost, you got a better draft pick, right. And then you just more chemistry between the wide receivers and quarterbacks, and so
and he did a good job. And I think as long as they can, they're bringing in a new GM. They've narrowed it down, it seems like, and they're doing some second interviews now. So it's interesting because a few of the GMs were There's been reports that a few of the GMs had conflicting outviews of Locke. So the word is there's one GM in particular. They're not saying who it is, that said that they want to keep him and they want to build, keep everything intact. They want to see, and they want to put a veteran behind him in case something happens, in case maybe he slips, in case there's obviously injury, that kind of thing.
And then it's magic.
Yeah. And then there's the idea of one of them saying that they want to bring in somebody now. So it's real weird. It depends on John Elway and it depends on Joe Ellis, which is weird. I wish we could have cleared up our ownership situation before all this, but whatever. So technically we don't really know what that looks like. It's such a long process and it's just crazy. I mean, obviously I would just rather have it be within the Bolin family, and I would actually rather see the daughter get it more than anybody else. But it's just a big battle between a bunch of kids, and it's ultimately it's the mom's still alive, but I don't know. I just don't see how he didn't set that up before he died. So
yeah, it's gonna stay in the family, and kudos to John Elway saying, hey, maybe I need to step back and go do a different position and hire a GM. And now, trust me, John Elway is still gonna have quite a bit of pull with the Denver Broncos. He's the president of football operations, and he stepped in and said, hey, I need to hire a GM. That takes a lot of inward looking, and that's kudos to him. There was some big questions about when that happened here in Dallas. Should Jerry Jones do the same thing, which we know would never happen. So I'm interested to see where they go. That way John Elway can stay in the organization and not everything doesn't fall on his shoulders as far as personnel goes. So it'll see. If you get a new GM, they might want to go away from Locke. I told you a couple days ago, I wouldn't be surprised if they did move up and draft a quarterback. But we'll see what happens, man. When you get a new GM, a lot of things can change.
True. I think my hope is that we need to build this team. They're so young. Like, this team's average age is 25. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of offense, the team's average age is 25. So I'm like, this team is super fresh, man. Super fresh. And I'm like, just try and build this team, because if we just imagine if like a team kept changing the coaching staff every single year.
Yeah, that'll ruin a quarterback.
They didn't do this. Nope, they didn't do it. Nope, they made a decision in the playoffs. Get rid of everybody.
The Cleveland Browns. That's the Cleveland Browns of the last 20 years.
Yeah. And you can't have any kind of stability. You can't, nobody can count on anything. It's just like a mess. So my hope, because the Broncos have been in a chaos mess with coaching, changing coaches, changing offensive coordinators, all this stuff. Keep things intact. Let's see what happens. Give it, a few more years. Let's see what happens, because we just don't know right now. It's been a weird year. It was a weird year last year. Locke had a really weird freak injury that happened at the beginning of the season where he cut his throwing hand in preseason, and that left him out of the game for a while, so, and that's why he only played 4 games last season. And this season was the first full real season. And then you top that off with COVID, and it's just a big mess. And then a new offensive coordinator, and then it's just like even more of a mess. So it's just
it's an avalanche.
Yeah. So I'm just like, my personal opinion, if we just keep it and leave it alone, I would leave it alone. I would use that pick either to trade to get some more picks, or possibly use that pick on our cornerback situation, because that was an absolute mess this year.
I saw a mock draft that had y'all replacing Von Miller, a replacement for Von Miller there. So I forget his name. I really didn't look into it. I just saw the headline, but
well, I mean, we have some pretty good. Our pass rushing was really good this year. There's some guys that came out of our pass rushing team that was really surprised a lot of people. So, I mean, they're saying stuff because Von Miller's got 1 year left.
Yeah,
you know,
and I doubt they sign him back because the age and.
Well, I think I think it all depends. If Von Miller has a really good year and he doesn't and he's healthy, I do think they'll sign him back. I do think Von Miller wants to stay in Denver. I think that he wants to finish his career in Denver. And I do see it at this point. He knows who he is, and he's also a leader in the team too, and a leader on the defense. So I do think that if he does come back, he comes back on a team-friendly deal. He got a huge paycheck. Denver paid him a lot of money. So I do think that he will probably come back on like a team-friendly kind of deal, you know, like a 2-year, maybe a 3-year option, whatever kind of deal. But I think Von Miller will stay. I just think he's got his roots here. He's a leader in the team. He's, you know, grown as a person in this place, in this organization. He likes the organization. The organization likes him. And honestly, you know, the Broncos have the ability to say, hey, when you were down, we were there. We were there for you. We didn't abandon you. When he got in trouble for all those, the pills and the drug deal, the Broncos could have easily been like, we're going to wash our hands of this. Nuh-uh. We're not handling this. We're not doing it. Because honestly, they're an organization. They're a no-nonsense organization. So it was very surprising when that happened. I was like, how are they going to handle this? I don't know. You know, and when they finally were like, no, we're backing him 100%. He's our guy. And we're going to get him help. And we believe he will be better. And he was. He hasn't gotten in trouble since. I mean, they were there for him. So a lot of organizations may have just been like, out.
Yeah. Well, this week at the Watson household, Jeff, it's been a pretty normal week. But we did get a date night in, and we went and saw News of the World, a new Tom Hanks movie. A pretty interesting movie. I don't want to give too much of it away because me and the wife are actually going to do a podcast episode, special edition or whatever, special episode together, and we're going to review that movie. We're going to review the Wonder Woman 1984. So I don't want to give too much of all that away now, but look forward to that episode coming up. Hopefully later sometime in the next 2 weeks. It's going to take a lot of work to get us to be able to get it on at the same time without having kids around. So we went on a date. We saw that movie. We went to eat. But Jeff, sadly, we had a death in the family, Jeff.
Really?
And yeah, the family guinea pig, Jeff, passed away this weekend. So, the girls cried, and they all had their own breakdowns, and we buried him in the backyard. And the girls, I had to go get a shovel and find a shovel, borrow my neighbor's shovel, and dug a hole in the backyard and buried him. And the girls wrote little notes to him, and it was just a big emotional day that consumed our night the other night. We didn't know he was dead. We thought he was asleep, and then Darla ended up knocking the cage around, and Jana went to go fix it. And guinea pigs are very scared of anything, so she moved it and was like, babe, Apollo's not moving. So yeah, so that was very traumatizing for the girls. But it sucks for them. I didn't want to take him to the new house, because he makes a mess, and I was like, I don't really want to take him to the new house. But not that I want to die, but you wanted it. You were one. Kind of. Oh man! So I had to go and dig a hole. I think
there needs to be an investigation. Brian.
Yeah.
It's like a secret. There's like a secret camera. Brian's
what's this big bag of rat poisoning? What are we? No, he Well, he lived for 2 years, and guinea pigs don't live a whole long. So we only had him a year. Yeah, we had him about a year. It was a class guinea pig, and anyways, it passed away, and we had a little service out in the backyard for him. So in our rent house, so that was pretty interesting. And it did snow in Texas. It snowed over the weekend, Jeff.
Yeah, I saw that.
We got snow flurries. It didn't stick here, but down south in Everman and Burleson, they got 2-3 inches. Some places got about 5 to 6. So that was interesting. That doesn't happen in Texas very often.
Once every 7 years.
Yeah, you ain't lying. And the girls wanted to go out and play in it, so they were. That is our eventful week. I was able to watch a couple playoff games, and oh, dude. So let me tell you. So, a little side note: when we went out to eat at this place called Lupe Tortillas, and they're freaking amazing Tex-Mex. They're my favorite Tex-Mex place ever, and they just opened up, and we're sitting there, and we're the way where we're sitting is it's a booth, and then on my side's just a chair. And so I'm staring at the wall, and the wife is able to look. She's facing outwards. And Jeff, I kid you not, we hear some screaming right behind us. The table right behind us, you hear this. I'm tired of you treating me like shit. This screaming, dude. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I didn't want to turn around and look, and stare. So my wife's like, oh, there's 2 guys and 2 girls, and I will not calm down. I'm tired of you treating me like shit. And got up and just stormed out of the restaurant. I was like, oh, oh my gosh. So it was a pretty eventful, funny night there. But
speaking of some like weird public stories, there was me and Allie. It was like really late, and I don't know what we were doing. I think we were driving around, listening to music. This is when we were first living together, and we were just driving around, and it was like getting real late, and we were like, man, we're hungry. So we went to IHOP, and we go into IHOP. This is in Arlington, like I would even say, where the mall is in Arlington? I forgot. Was it the Parks Mall?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're right before you get to the Parks Mall. There's like an IHOP, kind of close to. I want to say like if you were to leave Mansfield and head to Arlington, that highway.
Yeah.
And so we go in there and we're just eating, and oh man, this guy was talking to some girls, and he was like, man, he goes, I'm from California. And there's like churches everywhere behind every corner. And he's like, and I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. And at first I wasn't even thinking much about it. I was like, okay, whatever. And this guy was listening to him, and he just was like, excuse me. And he stood up, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be bad. And he was just like, they were kind of going at it. And this was before like the iPhone came out. So nobody really had like video, and you couldn't like record it and be like, oh dang, look what's going on. Look what's going on in IHOP. So we were just kind of like, we just watching this unfold, and the guy was like, you get up and I'll show you Jesus. I was like, oh my God. I was like, and so they had to escort dude, it was so bad. I was like, this is insane. And I thought, Allie, when we went back to the car, she's like, are we imagining this because we're so sleep deprived or something? I was like, no, I don't. That happened. That actually happened.
That really happened.
Yeah. It was mind boggling. I was like, dang, what the heck? And Allie's like, I wish we had a phone. We would have recorded it, put it on YouTube. I was like, oh man. I'm like, that would have been great.
That's funny. All right. So let's jump into some sideline notes. The sideline notes I got for you is Doug Peterson, Jeff, has been fired out of Philly. He just won a Super Bowl, 2 or 3 years ago. He's already fired in Philly. That's interesting to let him go this quick. There must have been some with the ownership. I heard there was reports that Doug Peterson really wanted a offensive coordinator. He really wanted a certain offensive coordinator. I guess the ownership there didn't feel like that. They ended up letting Doug Peterson go. So they're searching for their next head coach. And we'll see what happens in Philly. It's pretty interesting, though, that a coach that just took you to the Super Bowl within 3 years has already found his way out.
Yeah, that's I mean, you hear the stories of him just doing some weird, wacky things at the end of the game, which is kind of strange. You hear all these stories and stuff, and then you watch, there's people that watching the game that were like, what is he doing? Whether he's intentionally trying to lose so they get a better pick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, weird stuff like that. Whether or not the quarterback was playing bad or not was besides the point. Which is weird because they were doing okay. I mean, I think Washington was a better team in terms of the division, but Philly's got a lot to figure out. The quarterback situation's
a lot to figure out.
Bad. I mean, at this point, you might as well just trade your quarterback. What pick are they in the draft, by the way?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at the draft order yet. But yeah, they got a lot of things to figure out.
Yeah.
They have Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, and Carson Wentz, and there was rumors Carson Wentz wanted to trade. Was that true or not? We don't know. That I saw a little rumor pop up earlier that the Eagles are going to reach out to the Oklahoma coach, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. Riley, the coach there in Riley, because he coached Jalen Hurts, and he's actually one of the best college football coaches in the league. So if they were able to get him, that would be huge. I don't think they're going to be able to pull him away, but so there's a lot of issues going on there. Another in the same division, the Cowboys hired Dan Quinn as their next DC. Dan Quinn just came off getting fired for coaching the Atlanta Falcons. I do like this pick for Dallas. Going back, and I asked a couple of the Cowboy fans here, my buddies, why do you like this hire if you do it all? And Dan Quinn coached the Legion of Boom, defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks when they went to 2 Super Bowls. He was a head coach that took Atlanta to the Super Bowl, but they ended up blowing with the biggest Super Bowl lead in the history of the NFL. So
yeah, that was the year. That was the year they forgot to play defense.
Yeah, they forgot to play defense, and I think they were there because their offensive coordinator what was it? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? He's coached the 49ers now, Mike Shanahan. But as a head coach, Dan Quinn to me didn't do all that great. But if he's able to focus on.
Side note, Kyle Shanahan, my bad.
Okay. Yes. So if he is able just to focus on the defensive coordinator, he's definitely going to be better than what they had this season. I think it's a good pickup going into next season for them. Just saw breaking news, Jeff, a while ago. I don't know if you have anything to add on the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn.
Not really familiar with the guy. I just know he talked about the weird kick that the Cowboys snuck a win out this year, and tried to justify it. Outside of that, I had no idea he was in Seattle.
That's my thing is I didn't know where he came from. When I went and looked it up, I was okay. He actually was successful being a defensive coordinator. So that's what the Cowboys are hoping to pull back out of him and bring into their team, because this defense for the Dallas Cowboys needs a lot of work.
Well, I mean, hopefully his defense isn't too complicated.
Yeah, because they won't be able to handle that.
Yeah.
The breaking news I saw that I wasn't able to put in here was the Seattle Seahawks fire offensive coordinator. They said they had a lot of different opinions on how the offense needed to be ran in Seattle. I think out of all the teams in the playoffs so far, other than the Steelers, Seattle Seahawks have got to be the biggest letdown so far. You look at this team, they came in. Russell Wilson through 3 weeks is already the league MVP. Everyone just wanted to go ahead and give it to him, right? He struggled the last half of the season. The defense of the Seattle Seahawks went from being one of the worst in the leagues the last since the trade deadline. They were one of the best. So the defense has got better for the Seattle Seahawks, and Russell Wilson struggled down the way to the playoffs. I think it's a big not that I'm saying Russell Wilson's a bad quarterback, but that's struggling. So there was something going on with the offense that wasn't working in the end of the season. So I think a change is needed to be made, in my opinion, and go on from different directions. But that's what I just broke down on the breaking news from ESPN.
Was it their offensive coordinator, you said?
Yeah, I'm not sure of his name, but it was their offensive coordinator that they let go.
Yeah, I think that's totally understandable. Something's wrong with the offense. I don't know what it is. I don't think Russell Wilson is like falling apart. I think he's still pretty young.
No. He's young and he's still good.
So it's got to be something within. Maybe the scheme just needs to change up. Maybe people are still starting to kind of just learn everything, and maybe a fresh set of eyes and a fresh set of plays might be the actual answer.
And I Seattle Seahawks like to run the ball a lot, and they actually ran the ball a lot more than I wanted them to the last couple of years, and not letting Russell Wilson throw the football. And I think this year they got away from that running game and let Russell Wilson throw the ball more. And we saw that especially during the first half of the season. So maybe they want to go back to rushing the ball more. I don't know. But there was a game in the playoffs against the Cowboys last year or the year before. And if they just let Russell Wilson throw the football, they win that game. But they handed the ball off. And it was so much. I'm like, dude, just give Russell Wilson the freaking football. It's driving me crazy. And it drives me crazy that they won't give him the football. This year they did, and they made it to the playoffs, and they won a very tough division. But yeah, they fizzled out there against a good Rams team. Not that the Rams are a bad football team. They have good defense and everything like that. But that's pretty interesting. Excuse me, Jeff. Sorry about that. All right. Are you ready for the spotlight of the week, Jeff?
Yeah.
Are you ready? All right, let's go. First, this is the round 2 of the NFL playoffs. The wild cards have been picked, and we're moving on to second week. Now we're going to break it down by the teams, by the times that games are played. So the first game on Saturday is the Packers versus the Rams at 3:35. So I don't want you to think of being biased and throwing Green Bay number 1 here. They play on Saturday, the earliest game. We're going to go in order there. So this is an interesting game, Jeff. The Packers have the number 1 offensive scoring offense in the league, and the Rams are the number 1 scoring defense in the league. So that's an interesting dynamic. It's going to be a chess matchup against defense and offense. Now, the Rams have the number 1 ranked defense in the league, so that's going to be a tough match for the Green Bay Packers. But they only have the 11th the 11th offensive ranked team, and then the Packers have the 9th ranked defense, so a top 10, and they have the 5th ranked offense all around in general. So this game is going to be interesting. Like I said, there's lots of injuries for the Rams. It's hard to predict with all the injuries going on. Aaron Darnold might not play with broken ribs. You got Cooper Kupp might be out. Jared Goff, we don't know if he's starting or will be the other quarterback in Wolford. Lots of issues going on there with the Rams that they're going to have to figure out. Jared Goff doesn't play well in the cold weather, Jeff. Saw something the other day where the 2 games he's played in cold temperatures of 30 or below, he's played really, really bad. Regardless of who's playing or not, Jeff, I got the Packers winning this game. I think Green Bay's offense is going to play well. Devontae Adams. Will Jalen Ramsey be able to shut down Devontae Adams? And can Green Bay win without him? That was the biggest thing going into this game. Jalen Ramsey will probably follow Devontae around. How much is he going to be stopped? We'll see if that can happen. Green Bay has to be able to establish a run game against this tough defense, the Rams. They're going to have to keep Aaron Rodgers on his feet. We have a really good offensive line. Even with missing the best left tackle in the game, David Bakhtiari, we are 4-0 without him this season. Without Devontae Adams, we've put up big numbers and had other guys step up. I think we do that this week in Lambeau Field. I think we beat the Rams. It's going to be a close game. A lot of Packer fans out there are overlooking this Rams team. Don't overlook them. They have the number 1 ranked defense. And I think it's a close game in Green Bay, but I think Green Bay gets the job done.
This is a tricky game.
Very tricky.
This is going to be close, man. This is going to be a close game, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be surprised if it's a blowout. That would really shock me. The fact that the Rams defense is there, but you do have Sam Darnold out. It's a big one.
Aaron Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Dang it.
Wait a minute. Did he come out of retirement? Quarterback?
Yeah, he's back. And he's playing defense.
Yeah.
So, second quarterbacks. No, I think I will give it to the Packers mainly because it's that home field advantage is going to be an outside game, especially in this cold weather. It's definitely going to be a factor. They are
allowing fans, by the way. They're allowing 6,000 to 8,000 fans in the stands. So
that's pretty big for Lambeau. I mean, Lambeau's, it's for that town. I mean, that's quite a bit of fans. They're loud fans, so you're definitely going to have that for sure. Let's see. I'd have to go with the Green Bay Packers. I'd have to go with the Green Bay Packers by like a touchdown at least.
I agree. It's touchdown, field goal. To me, the key is if the Rams want to win this game, they're going to have to get the ball. They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to get a ground game going against Green Bay, which can be done. Our ground defense has been bad the first half season. We've played a lot better in the second half of the year, getting that better. If they're able to get a rushing game going to get time of possession, keep Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines, and then if they're able to sack Aaron Rodgers and frustrate him and take Devontae Adams out of the game, they have a good chance of winning. They're a tough team. I just got Green Bay winning this game. I think they get the job done there. So the second game is the Ravens travel to Buffalo to face the Bills. They play at 7:15 Saturday night. The defense of the Ravens this year, they're higher ranked than the Bills. They're actually ranked. I didn't put that down here. I think they're ranked number 9 in the league defensively for the Baltimore Ravens, and the Bills are ranked in like number 12. So you're going to have this defense that actually not number 9, they're number 8. Green Bay was ranked number 9. Ravens are number 8. The Bills offense is ranked number 3rd in the league. So this could be a good battle. It's going to be battle versus how good the Bills offense could be versus a very good defense. Look, I've already told you guys, I'm not a big believer in Lamar Jackson. I think he's very overrated. Doesn't throw the ball very well. If you can force him to throw the ball and contain him, I think you can beat him now. Like I said, Josh Allen's got to step up this game. He's got to come out and show you guys why he was considered for the MVP this year. He's in the top. He's number 3, I think, for the MVP this year. I think he's got to have a good game. They got to get. They got to contain Lamar Jackson, force him to throw the ball. I got the Bills winning this game at home to move on to the next round.
I got to go with the Bills on this one. Matter of fact, I like the Bills this year.
Yes.
They're just really good.
Yes, I do. And they're easy team to like. They really are. Their quarterback fights hard and plays hard. And he's very he's gotten better every year. You've seen him progress. Last year, I saw a stat that kind of blew me away. He was 30th ranked throwing to a receiver with 1 yard or less separation. This year, Jeff, he's number one. He went
crazy.
from 30 to number one over 1 year. Accuracy. They picked up Stephon Diggs in the offseason. They traded for him. It wasn't a pickup through free agency. They traded for him. I think it was the biggest acquisition so far this year, turn the offense around. It helped to be more explosive downfield. You're exactly right. The Buffalo Bills is a team that I think a lot of guys can like. But I'm not a big believer in Baltimore, not with this quarterback. I don't believe it. I think the league hasn't figured out, and that's why he hasn't looked to be his MVP self like he was last year. He didn't play well against Tennessee, but Tennessee, I'm not a big believer in either. So,
I mean, I've always kind of thought Lamar Jackson was a one-dimensional quarterback. I mean, I know when he first came on the scene, he was just going crazy, running, and I mean, rushing the ball, throwing the ball. But I think when you take away that run and force him to beat you with the throw, with the arm, it's just a bad look. If he can somehow turn that around and become an amazing passer and have those legs, that's when he's going to be like probably the best quarterback ever.
That's not going to happen though.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
you can't teach stuff like that. So it's hard to teach that kind of stuff. You have to either already have it or don't. And
accuracy is a hard thing to improve on. And he can get better going forward, but to drastically, when that's just not coming out of college, he doesn't throw the ball very well. And as a quarterback, that's hard to win. They had to change up the whole offense just for him this last year. And or last year they did that. So if the teams are figuring him out, he's in a world of hurt. So I just don't know. I just don't believe in Lamar Jackson, like I said. And
I don't either.
Yeah,
I don't either.
So you got the Bills winning that game as well.
I like the Bills. I think they're a real scrappy team. They're like the ultimate underdog. Nobody's talked about them really. And this is one of those teams, I'm telling you, this is one of those teams that is a sneaker team. This team can get under the radar and really make some noise. And this is a team to watch out for.
Yes, agreed. Number 3, Jeff, the Browns go to the Chiefs to play Sunday at, I believe, 3:00. Let's go ahead, Jeff. Let's give the Browns a round of applause, Jeff. They took the Steelers out in the first round, and that's as far as they're going. They're not going to beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry, Browns fans. The Chiefs have the number 1 ranked offense in the complete NFL. It is Patrick Mahomes. It is Kansas City. Now they have looked a little worse this year. They look like they're not blowing teams away. They keep games close. A lot of people say they're disinterested in the regular season and wait until the playoffs start. And that can be deadly because if that switch doesn't come on, you could find yourself losing to the Cleveland Browns. I just don't think it's going to happen. I got Kansas City winning this game. I got them winning it pretty well. If the Browns win, Jeff, here's the keys to the Browns winning. Number 1, they have to run the ball really well, which they can do. Kansas City's team is ranked 14th on defense, so their defense isn't playing as lights out as they were last year at the end of the season. They're going to be able to run the ball against Kansas City, keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, time of possession, long drives. They've got to score on every possession because you know how fast Patrick Mahomes can score points. They've got to score every possession. They have to have Baker Mayfield take what's there, not try to push the ball, don't make stupid decisions with the football. If they want to win, on the other side, they've got to get Patrick Mahomes very uncomfortable. Getting him uncomfortable, he still makes those plays, makes those crazy throws. You got to make him very uncomfortable to try and slow this offense down. I just think it's a tall task for Cleveland. I've got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. I'm hoping the Browns take it, but Kansas City moves on in the next round.
I'm going with Cleveland. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, if whatever fits your fancy, man. Whatever.
I would love to pick the Browns.
You can pick them, but I want to hear the reasons. I got to hear the reasons why you're picking them. That's the That's going to be the hard part when it comes against Kansas City. But
it's hard to pick against Kansas City just because they're the defending champs. Until someone knocks them off, they're the team to beat. But Cleveland's going to have to control time of possession 100%. I know when the Broncos played the Chiefs and we got really close to beating them, it's not that we were going to destroy them or anything like that, but when we got really close, we were winning time of possession.
Right.
Like this last time we played the Chiefs, it was a very close game, and it came down to the end of the game. And if it wasn't for Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, we probably wouldn't have won that game, or not won that game, but gotten close to winning that game, because we were destroying the time of possession. We were winning that battle. And as long as Patrick Mahomes cannot be on the field, your chances of winning that game are very high, and you have to do it all game. You can't let up. You can't be like, oh no, we're up by 2 touchdowns. Let's just, ease up a bit. No, there's no easing up against this team, because this team can come back in 2 minutes and score a touchdown.
They did it all last offseason. They were down by 21, down by 10, down by whatever. And like you blink an eye and they're up by 10. You're going, what the heck just happened?
Do I want the Browns to win? Yes. Would it be awesome to see the Browns, a team that they made the playoffs twice, I think, in the last so many years. Would I love to see them go far in the playoffs? Absolutely. Are the Chiefs a better team? Yes. So the pick goes for the Chiefs, mainly because they have the better on paper team, and they're the defending champs. You gotta pick them, because unless Cleveland Browns destroy them and beat them this next week a game, you got to pick the Chiefs.
Exactly right. And the Browns, they won that game against the Steelers with some players missing because COVID. Their head coach was missing because COVID. So it was interesting that they were able to dominate as much as they did. I think the Browns coach Stefanski, I think he's going to be coach of the year, the way he's come in. And you look at the Browns, Jeff, the last couple of years, they've got big name players. They've got the Landry there, who's been there for a little while. They got Odell Beckham. They've added players, and everyone's going, these guys are going to the Super Bowl. It's just, it's going to happen. And they fell flat. They fired their coach. They bring in Stefanski from Minnesota. He was offensive coordinator in Minnesota. He came in. What have we heard about the Cleveland Browns this year, Jeff, over the offseason? You didn't hear anything. You heard crickets. This guy came in here. He found the game plan he wants to do. He likes to run the ball a lot. He has 2 really good running backs. He knows how to use Baker Mayfield. He's kept this team quiet and focused on football first instead of all the outside noise. I think this guy deserves Coach of the Year, in my opinion. But he's done a fantastic job with the Cleveland Browns this year.
Yeah, I can't argue that. Them and the Bills are really the two of those the teams that I think they're close. The Bills are closer.
The Bills head coach has done a fantastic job turning that team around. They were good last year as well. They went 10-6, I believe, last year, and this year, what were they, 12-4, I think. So he's got a good choice for it. And Miami coach. He had a coach. They didn't make the playoffs this year. They missed it by 1 game, but he's got it won as well. And I think honorable mentions got to go to Matt LaFleur. And I think in Green Bay, and I tell people all the time, the reason he doesn't get mentioned in Coach of the Year is because having Aaron Rodgers hurts him for that. And I because the perception is that anybody can do the job with such a good caliber quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers was not playing like this before Matt LaFleur came in. Even last year, he struggled a little bit. He didn't have these numbers. He comes the second year of Matt LaFleur's system, and Aaron Rodgers will win the MVP this year unless they decide to give it to Derrick Henry, who's a running back. But Matt LaFleur, I think, deserves it, but he won't get mentioned for it because of Aaron Rodgers. But
well, I mean, I think you got to have Jason Garrett coach Aaron Rodgers.
Don't even get me started. All right, Jeff, we got one more game to look into. Number 4, you got the division game, the Bucks versus the Saints. This is going to be a good one, Jeff.
Versus Breeze.
Brady versus Breeze.
17.
Well, this is round 3 this year. The Saints have swept.
Okay.
Yeah, this is round 3 this year. The Saints have swept those games. They beat both of them. They say it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, Jeff. We'll see if that happens. Like I said last week, the Bears, the Saints only put up 7 points going into the third quarter. If they want any chance to win this game against the Buccaneers, the way the offense has been scoring points, they're going to have to come out and score points. The Bears defense is decent. They're really good. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is really good. They're going to have a hard time scoring against them. They're going to have to be able to stop. Now, the Saints defense is really good as well. They're going to have to get Tom Brady very uncomfortable. The Saints are going to score a lot of points to keep up with Tom Brady. To me, Tom Brady still has an arm. Drew Brees doesn't. He's throwing a lot of ducks. They're going to have to get Alvin Kamara going. I've got Tom Brady going in to Louisiana, into the Dome, knocking Drew Brees and the Saints out of the playoffs, waving goodbye as Drew Brees retires from the NFL more than likely, and moving on to the next round.
Did Drew Brees play last couple games?
Yeah, he played. He played against the Bears. He played the last game of the season as well. I'm not sure before that, but he did play the last two. He did okay. It wasn't fantastic. They won the game at the end of the day. Like I said, if you watched the game last week against the Bears, they struggled on offense. And the Bears defense is good, so but Tampa Bay's defense is good too. Like I said, the Saints only had 7 points going into the third quarter. Midway through the third quarter, they went and scored another touchdown. But Drew Brees' arm looks washed, in my opinion. I think this is definitely his last year. I just don't think they have enough.
He had tons of injuries. I mean, he had that crazy thing where it was like punctured lung, with broken ribs, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So
that's what he came back from. The second to the last game of the season, I believe, or the last game of the season. So we'll see.
I don't know how healthy he is. I mean, how do you bounce back from something like that? That seems like a pretty intense,
especially at his age,
recovery.
At his age, he broke 11 ribs, punctured a lung. And the hit he took didn't seem to be that bad. I don't know. It was insane. So,
yeah, I go with the Bucks mainly because I wonder how healthy Brees is. I wonder how healed up he is or anything like that. We'll find out. But in terms of health wise, Tom Brady's obviously in a better health situation than Drew Brees is, and then you top that off with some decent defense that ranked number 6. Then yeah, I mean, how can you go against that? I'll go with the Bucks on this one. Not by a lot, though. I don't think it's going to be by a lot.
It's a divisional game. The games they played, the first game they played, it was the first or second game of the year that they played. Saints stomped a mud hole in Tom Brady, and it looked bad. But he was learning a new system, new team, new situation. They beat him again in Tampa Bay, and I don't know the score of that game. But I think Tom Brady wins out this one. I think their offense is playing really well. They're getting a linebacker back. His last name is White. He was a rookie out of LSU last year. He is an all-out beast. They stopped the run. They played like 20 games in straight without allowing a 100-yard rusher. That was broken a couple weeks ago. But they stopped the run. They force you to throw the ball. They get after the quarterback. They're a tough team to beat. And I think Brady gets the job done going into next week. So if our predictions plan out, Jeff, which I think they will, here's what you're looking at next week. You're looking at the Chiefs versus the Bills, and then you're looking at the Packers versus the Bucks, and you're looking at Brady versus Rodgers going to the Super Bowl, and you're looking at Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. And interesting, it's funny because the average age of the quarterbacks in the AFC that are left is like 25. and in the NFC, it's like 30 something. So
Jesus.
a big difference. The only quarterback that's not old is Jared Goff, but other than that, a bunch of old guys versus some young guns. So got to make for an interesting week of football. Weekend of football coming up.
I will say this: if this plays out, that's exciting.
Oh, that is now, Jeff. I get pretty intense during football games. Ask the wife; she'll tell you that I used to be that fan, Jeff, that if my team won, I was in a good mood all day, and if my team lost, I was in a bad mood all day. I let it affect me that way. I stopped doing that. But when playoffs come around, I told Jan, I go, look, babe, Saturday, 3:30 comes on. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. I'm going to be, if they win or lose, if they lose, I'm going to be upset. And if they win, I'm going to be happy. If they lose, I'll get upset for that day, and I'll be done with it by the next day, and just kind of what it is. If they win, I'll be super excited. If this pans out, that Green Bay, we want that rematch against the Buccaneers. They'll come and play in Lambeau Field. We want that rematch after what they did to us earlier in the year, and I hope we get it. Brady's Rodgers versus Brady to go to the Super Bowl. I think it'd be fantastic football to watch. I just hope my team's on the winning end, man. I just hope they are, man.
Yeah, that would be an interesting, whether it even if it is Packers versus Saints. I mean, you got Drew Brees versus Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of a win-win there. I do think y'all are going to win, but it just depends on who are y'all going to play against in this next round. But in terms of Chiefs versus Bills, that is exciting because the Bills' defense is ridiculous, dude.
And I tell you, I predicted before the playoffs started the Bills versus Packers Super Bowl, and I could easily see that happening. Now, look, guys, I'm not overlooking the Rams. I'm not overlooking any of these teams. Green Bay's got to go out and show it. I just feel something special from them this year. They have a really good chance to win, but so does every team other in the playoffs, except for the Cleveland Browns, to probably go to the Super Bowl.
Are they home field advantage throughout? Packers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
as long as we win, we play in Lambeau until the Super Bowl. So.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, we got the number 1 seed. We beat the Bears the last game of the season to lock that up, and it's all number 1 seed now. Green Bay is really good because if you look at the history of football, having that bye and having home field advantage is the best way of getting to the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, that's kind of common sense. But if you go back and look who's made it, it's been those teams. So that bodes well for Green Bay. The last 3 times that Green Bay, or 2 times that Green Bay has made the NFC Championship game, it's on the road. It's not at home. We've lost those games. So this is big for Green Bay to have home field advantage. It's why we played all our starters on the last game of the week, last game of the season, because it mattered. My issue is Green Bay doesn't play well coming off a bye. So we've historically known to come out slow off a bye. I hope that doesn't happen this next week. That's where the bye can hurt you. The last time we actually won the Super Bowl was 2010, and we won it as a wild card. We had no bye. We played on the road all the way through, had a good defense, had Aaron Rodgers playing really good, beat Steelers in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. It's fantastic. That was 10 years ago, Jeff, 10, 11 years ago. I'm hoping we can do it again, man. Hoping we can do it again. I feel something special.
Yeah. I think y'all have a chance, man. I think it's going to be I think this is going to be, after this week, the way everything shapes out, there's going to be potentially, and I will even say that whoever wins out of those 2 championship or conference championship, or not conference championship, but NFC championship and AFC championship. That's going to be a killer Super Bowl, man.
Dude, it's going to be fantastic. If Green Bay makes it versus the Chiefs, you would have the number one offense versus the number one offense as far as like total numbers and everything else. And Green Bay has the number one scoring offense, which means they average more points per game than any other team in the NFL. That would be something to watch. So
that's going to be an insane game. Yeah.
I'm hoping.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm getting excited. So next week, if I come on and the podcast and I'm super down, you probably already know the Packers lost. If I come on super excited, the Green Bay won. So it'll be what I'm excited for, other than my team being in it, is good football. And it looks like we're going to have that all the way through. So.
Yeah. And one quick question. So let's say hypothetically, next year, let's say the Cowboys win the division. And it's very possible the division's crap.
Yeah.
So let's say the Cowboys win the division. And let's say the Packers, and this is again hypothetical, the Packers are going to make the playoffs next year. But let's say the Packers don't. Are you rooting? And let's say would you?
I know where you're going with this.
Would you at that point, would you root against them each round, Brian? Would you purposely go, you know what? I can't. I'm sorry. I can't listen to it. I can't listen to all that all year. If they go all the way and win, I will be listening to it for years.
Yes, I will. And it's so funny you bring that up, Jeff, because I got a buddy named Ryan Sims, and I don't know if he listens to the podcast. I tell him he needs to come on the podcast, but he's always trying to get
Ryan Sims. You need to tune in.
He's always trying to get me to root for the Cowboys. He goes, well, can they not? He asked me like 2 days ago, I kid you not, can you not make your second team in the NFL the Cowboys? And I'm like, first of all, I don't have a second team in any sport. I'm a one team guy. So he wants me to be a Cowboy fan. And he's like, you know so much about it. I'm like, yeah, because I live in Dallas. I hear all the information. I listen to sports talk radio. And he also wants me to root for the Mavericks too. So he knows he can't stand the Lakers either. And he's like, I'm going to get you in the Mavericks one day. I'm going to get you over. So he truly believes I'm going to turn over. And I said, look, I'm a Laker fan till I die, but I do like Luka Doncic. So I root for him to be pretty good. But now, Jeff, if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, I would have to move. I'd have to move. I couldn't bear to hear all the trash talk from these Cowboys.
Oh man, it would never end, man. It would never.
Your dad would call you every day, Jeff.
Dude, I would just feel like, okay, Dad, you were right one time.
One time,
all
broken
these
clock
years.
is right.
Broken clock. Twice a day. That's how it works. Just keep flipping that coin. You eventually land it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't, man. A long time ago, I was one of the biggest Cowboy haters, and I'm trying to be a little less. I'm a little lesser of a Cowboy hater now. I'm trying to be just,
it's the
dude. I told that to Ryan. I said, it's not the team, it's not Jerry Jones, it's your fan base. I grew up with so much trash talk from Dallas Cowboy fans that I can't root for them, and players that go there. Randall Cobb went there. I did not want him to do good. I said, sorry, Randall Cobb, I love you. You played great in Green Bay. Went to Dallas Cowboys. I hope you fail. Sorry. I cannot do it. Will not happen.
Yeah.
Will not happen.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it from my dad all the time. I hear it from my dad every year. And yeah, I mean, I think one time I forgot, it was a couple years ago, and they lost it against the Giants. It was the end of the season, which typically happens every year.
Yes.
At the end of the season, and I called him, and he was like, "My son doesn't call me for months, and he calls me now." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right." He was so mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, going into the last game of the season, I was like, the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants easily, and the Washington is going to win and keep the Cowboys out. Well, the Cowboys didn't even beat the Giants.
Yeah.
So then it was a moot point anyways, and it is what it is. And so, but let's wrap up this edition of Watson's Playbook, episode 34. We broke down the playoffs there for you. Send us your predictions if you want. On Facebook, email watsonsplaybook@gmail.com. Watson's Playbook at Facebook. Very easy to find. Jeff runs the, not Twitter, my bad. What's the Twitch? There you go. Account. He's been playing some NBA on there, I saw, and some other things. Go check us out. Give us likes. We've been getting more likes since we've been talking about the playoffs. It gets everyone excited. And something to look forward to after football season ends. Jeff's had a fantastic idea. I think something we're going to do. We're going to review one sports documentary a month. We're going to watch it and kind of go over that sports documentary. So if you want to watch this documentary each month, at the beginning of the month, we'll tell you what it is. We'll give you a full month to watch it. Give us our opinions on it, what we liked about it, what the stuff we didn't know, different things like that. So look forward to that after football season. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah, and some of them could even be a series too. Like I know HBO has a few series that they have like that are sports related and stuff like that. So
yes,
we'd have to take a look and see. But yeah, there's tons of stuff. I mean, we could even watch biopics too. Like I think I've seen the Jackie Robinson biopic.
Yes.
It's really, really good. So that's a really good movie. But I think I own the Babe Ruth one with John Goodman, which is amazing. I like John Goodman. I don't know. I like Roseanne. John Goodman's good. So
I like Roseanne.
And so, yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, I mean, and just to give you guys a bit of a heads up, I am using a different mic. So this is testing it out, seeing how well it is, seeing how good it sounds, that kind of thing. So yeah, I've been messing with settings and stuff as we're working on stuff, just to kind of test things out. So, but yeah. And then I'm also going to be, I'll probably be trying to do some Twitch stuff a little bit more. I'm at the tail end of this project with this guy, so I'll be able to kind of just give myself a few more weeks to kind of just work and come home and not do a whole lot of anything, so that I can gear up for my next assignment. I might be doing something with that guy, but I might be starting something brand new. So, but yeah, I just want to I'll be probably live streaming some stuff. I did live stream a couple days ago NBA 2K for the PlayStation 5, and so far I love it. It looks good, plays good. And then what else did I live stream? I can't remember. I can't remember. I think I'd live stream one of the brand new games for PS Plus, the Maneater, which is like a shark RPG where you you play as a shark, and you can basically take boats out, people out, and they're all like, "What are you doing? What's going on? There's a shark." It's like, so you take them and you like pull them under the water and like jump on the dog. It's a crazy game, dude. It's so insane. And then so that's something I've been playing. And then next month is definitely going to be amazing, because that's when Destruction All Stars comes out.
Yes.
So
yes, that's a game. I'm going to get on it. Is it going to be? It's going to be on PS4, right? As well.
I don't know. Maybe it might be crossplay. If it's crossplay, then yes. But I know it's going to be on Plus,
because I want to play it. I don't know when I'll be able to get into PlayStation 5, but that's one of the games I'm dying to play. So, me and the wife look forward to the episode that we're going to come out with. We like to watch a lot of movies on our dates, and so review a couple movies for you, how we felt about them, and go from there. So, just lots of different things happening on Watson's Playbook. But and then look for us on Facebook and Twitter and all those social media places. I wasn't able to get on Parler because the censorship has canceled that out. So not able to jump on Parler there off of Google, and they don't have it on Google no more. So, but we're on everything else, and just going with the flow and taking it easy. If you want to reach out to us again, you can find us pretty much anywhere. Easiest Facebook probably, or even my email, watsonsplaybook@gmail.com. You got to send me your predictions you want to throw out there for the playoffs or Super Bowl or whatever. Feel free, anything really. So.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody can just share the episodes, we are gaining some traction, so that's good. The more traction we gain, the more content we can probably add in here, and that will kind of add some kind of sponsorships possibly, and then that would be awesome. So, I mean, we're just doing this as a hobby. This is we're not making any money off this, so we're just kind of doing this on our own. but hey, man, if this takes off, that'd be amazing. I'd love it.
Yeah, definitely would be great. And I got into this because it's something that I really enjoy. It's just a hobby. Like I said, like Jess said, we don't make any money off this. I'm not out here streaming on YouTube, gaming and making millions of dollars. It's just not how it works. I always do it in our free time. We buy our own equipment. We're not making any money. Jeff just got a new mic and a pretty expensive one. So if he likes it, I'll probably get me one. My birthday's coming up next month. So, but yeah, we're just out here trying to have fun and hopefully be somewhat entertaining and knowledgeable on different aspects of sports and life and movies and games and everything in between. So we hope you guys are, just staying safe as we hopefully are coming closer to the end of this pandemic and getting somewhat back to normal, hopefully by the end of this year and everything. So
I think we're going to be back to normal by summer, man. Honestly,
I'm hoping so. My parents are going to get the shot sometime soon, so we'll see how that goes with them.
My mother-in-law got it. Joellen, Allie's mom.
Okay.
Yeah, she's autoimmune, so she has rheumatoid arthritis. So she's constantly having to check her white blood cell count levels and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, she was like, she kind of questioned it at first, but I'm like, go ask your doctor because you're autoimmune. Like you gotta be cautious, So she went and asked, and they were like, yes, you need to go do it. And so she got it. And I think my stepfather-in-law, something like that. So he ended up getting it too, because again, she's autoimmune. So if she gets the shot, I mean, and ends up getting it, it could hurt him too. He's like 70 years old. So yeah.
That's what they were worried. If they get it, that they could go downhill pretty quick because of their age. And but they're gonna get it. If y'all guys want to get it, feel free. But yeah, hopefully by the end of the year, hopefully we'll be back to normal.
They're saying they're talking about basketball being ready to go by summer.
Oh, as far as fans.
Mm-hmm. That's what Mark Cuban's talking about. I think he said 50% by summer and 100% by next holiday.
Be interesting because they're having a lot of issues right now with players getting it. I forget what team it was the other day. They were down like 8 players. It was insane, and they still had to go out and play. So a lot of different issues, and we'll jump into the sports after football because right now football is the main events, and
right.
So other than breaking news on baseball or baseball trades, or it's been a very slow baseball off season. But we'll pick up all that coming in after the Super Bowl. But there's just a lot of hype around football, and there's a reason for that. It's because they get the ratings. Yeah. So, but all right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic week. Look for this episode. I've been doing teaser little videos, putting up on Facebook for these episodes that have been getting quite a bit of traction as well. So I'm going to continue to do those every week. Y'all stay safe. Y'all be smart. God bless you. Jeff, thanks for jumping on this episode, buddy. Take care.
No problem. Everybody take care. Brian is a big tease.